He's the only one who like contributes money to the Discord. So
I didn't know that anybody did that.
I think the two boosts are Wes and Draco, so go figure. Can't afford gas money, donate to the server.
You should buy a car or whatever his problem is.
The old Carter Lake FGC. Alright, boys and girls, welcome back to the Nebraska FGC Ultimania cast. Actually, it's the Animal Crossing Retirement Home. I'm calling it audible. I'm your host, MKL, and I'm here as usual with my two Lincolnite cohorts, Dame and King George. Anything new since last week, boys?
Nothing at all. Same old, same
Not a
old.
lot, yeah.
This quarantine has been kind of boring.
So you haven't went back to work yet, Dame?
I'm still working from home, yeah. They've extended it till May, so I'm snug.
Damn,
with my JRPGs and whatnot. Final Fantasy VII Remake's coming out soon, so at least have that to play in a few.
Perfect timing. I'm fucking so jealous. And George, single barrel, same old, same old.
Same old, same old.
Ah, that sucks. I was hoping there'd be some good news on that front.
Nope.
Fuck. Well, we were gonna have a special guest today, but last minute affairs kinda had to call an audible. So first I just wanted to dive right into the fighting game news, get it out of the way. First off, there was the Grand Blue DLC, and that came with a balance patch, and Soris and Jita went live. I think the only one of us that have played them yet is Dame, because they were locked to Asia servers for a while. So Dame, give us the rundown real quick of Soris and Jita.
So yeah, I did try them a bit. They were released on PS4 first because the PC version is delayed a week later for whatever reason. So I had to download that, and yeah, they're pretty fun. I think Cerise is pretty enjoyable to play as, but I feel like he's not that strong in the meta currently. I wouldn't say he's like the worst character in the game. Like Leffen tweeted out like, "Oh my god, this character is fucking trash," and whatever. It's like Smash terms he has with that, but yeah, Soris, I think he's missing he's missing a reversal first of all, and his defense gimmick isn't really that helpful when you're already down like to 30% of your life. You'll still die in one hit with the way that damage works in this game.
Yeah, because it gives you an armor point, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, his unique button gives you an armor point, and it gives you a stack every time someone procs your armor. So it can build up to 5 stacks, and with like max guts and max like stack modifier, I think you can like have up to half the damage reduced. So it's not that bad like on paper, but you're pretty much on thin ice if you're already having to activate that in the match. So
that's a lot worse than I thought it was. Go on.
Jita just kind of, a lot of her buttons are similar to Grand's, so I imagine that she's pretty good. I haven't messed with her personally, but from what I've seen on Twitter, she looks to be up there, she's probably the best DLC character, I'd have to say, so far. A lot of them have been kind of underwhelming, like they'd be mid-tier or worse, with Narmaya, Beelzebub, and who else was released? Yeah, Soris,
that's it.
That's it.
Well, when you clone, when you have to clone Grand to make a good DLC character, I don't know if you're on the right page. She literally has his standing C, identical.
Is the feeling that
other buttons? I think her 2L is the same.
Or what?
It's hard. It's tough to say. Like again, like day 1 or 2, people haven't really figured out everything with them, even though they are relatively simple, especially Jita. I'd say they're about even. Grand might have the edge just because his boot is so fucking good. It gives you a combo for mid screen. So
yeah, she's definitely missing the boot, but it seems like she has better corner carry than Grand, which I think is a pretty good asset to have in this game.
Yeah, he has an interesting kind of property with her unique ability because it lets her get a ground bounce, but that's only on level 3 charges or higher. So she kind of needs to charge that up beforehand.
Oh,
Grant has a simpler one in like his wall bounce, but yeah, it's pretty much the same except his wall bounces and hers floor bounces.
the for the patch notes, there wasn't really anything too much of note that I saw, but Percival got some buffs. I saw. Um, there was something interesting where Jita's stand medium is only 0 on block. And I think that's kind of indicative of where they're going to patch the game next, possibly.
Right, I agree with that. A lot of characters got some quality of life buffs. I don't think they went in any direction in terms of nerfing characters this recent patch, and everything's to prep for the final patch in April for the season with Zoe coming out as well. So
Zoe,
we'll see what direction they take.
I don't think I've even seen a picture of Zoe. I definitely am out of the loop. So, yeah. So there's
Pretty sure Yamato has one as his avatar. He's standing pretty hard for her. So
all right. Okay, now I get the picture then. And that's the final DLC character, right?
yes, for this season, that's the final one. And who knows if other things will be delayed because of coronavirus, because I know ArcSys is shutting down their offices and having everyone work from home for this month.
Oh shit.
Right.
Ain't really.
Yep.
Well,
Japan's starting to take it serious now too.
GG delay or anything like that.
I think
I
it's
hope not either.
so interesting that, barring coronavirus changing things, they were planning to end season 1 like 3 months after the game, or shit, like what, 2 months after the game was launched? That is so crazy.
It's pretty short.
Yeah.
2 months of a season 1. I don't even. They should have just included. I mean, one of them's a fucking clone. Okay, that's interesting. But they really did need more characters. So if this season 1 is literally just, gating the content, whatever. If they needed to do that for monetary reasons, fine. As long as we get more than 11 characters. But was there anything else in the patch notes that really stood out?
Nothing too major. Some characters got buffs to their anti-airs, and some buttons are less punishable to have everyone more in line. But that's about it.
Yeah, it seemed like purely quality of life. So, I think that kind of goes over Granblue. Well, actually, George, Granblue, is it off the table for life now?
I mean, I just need to be able to. I'm not gonna play online. I need to be able to play against real humans. So it's off the table for a while.
Yeah, delay base is trash, man.
Yeah, that it is. Well, that actually segues perfectly into the next topic, which is French Bread's actually talking about exploring rollback netcode, but they've been running into a lot of issues, they put it. That's an interesting way to kind of ride the coattails of ArcSys, maybe, but what could they be running into problem-wise? You literally, GGPO is free.
Well, the thing with like Japanese developers is that the documentation is, from what I understand, it's all in English, so there's that language barrier for sure. It's not as simple as just like plopping in GGPO and being like, "Oh, it's in now. Have fun, guys."
That's
There's
true.
Some more work that goes into it. If it's not designed for rollback from the start, it is a little difficult to get it to a point where you can have rollback netcode. I know Mortal Kombat, one of their games needed to have like a rework for their online system to even have it, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say Mortal Kombat X, like well after it was released, ended up swapping from delay to rollback. It was for Mortal Kombat XL, which was at least a year into the game's launch. So, and I mean, it currently is the best netcode in the FGC, sadly. I mean, unless you want to go to Killer fucking Instinct. And on that side tangent, Killer Instinct's randomly making a comeback, proving that good netcode is fucking essential in 2020.
We'll see about the comeback.
Well, you know, it's gonna be one of those comebacks of
People are gonna
like,
talk about it.
yeah,
Killer Instinct is like the VF of 2D games. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
Killer Instinct's so good, so
Genie's
good. But
desperately
you never see nobody play it.
Genie is
Desperately trying to get people
Yeah.
to play it.
It's
It's going
Gen-
on sale.
it's Genie's Koi Jaime. But that's literally all of the fighting game news I could dig up this week. Did I miss anything?
I don't know. You could
Pretty
maybe
slow
touch
week.
on Kakoma tweet.
Oh yeah, that would be a
People
fun
bitching
one.
about Tekken.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't really know.
I'm gonna give you a soapbox at the end, George, and we're gonna cover the Kakoma tweet in depth. We'll go with that.
All right, we can go with that.
I'm gonna give us all a soapbox. You better be prepped. You better be prepped and willing. Yeah, but anything else? Crickets. So yeah, it turns out if you have a global pandemic, not a lot of shit happens. So on to some more general news. PlayStation 5's controller design was released, and it looks pretty goddamn suspect. So any opinions from you? Let's start with George.
I'm gonna have to feel it, but honestly, it doesn't seem that whack. I don't know why there's still a touchpad. I don't know who uses a touchpad. I think it kind of looks cool. I think it's gonna cost like $100 or some shit. It looks expensive.
Ugh. Dame, any controversial opinions?
I don't know if this is controversial, but I think it's kind of trash.
Yeah.
From an
It's-
ergonomic standpoint, why are the share and the start buttons like closer to the face buttons and the D-pad? I
Yeah.
don't understand that.
Literally,
As
I'm
if people
have that
weren't like
problem
hitting that already
With
in the middle
touching
of
that
matches.
thing, I don't really have that problem. So
well, good for fucking you, George. I certainly do. I have
Just
lost tournament
get good.
matches from pressing it. Sadly. Instantly when I saw the picture of it, I was like, fuck. Okay, it really is. It's Mixbox time, because I'm not going through another 5 fucking years of pressing start in tournament. Like, I refuse. I can't believe they did it. And the D-pad looks like it was pulled from the fucking PSP. So
oh yeah, that's true.
I'm
I
pretty.
think it's a Vita D-pad. I like the Vita D-pad.
Well,
I think the Vita one's nice, but the PSP was kind of eh.
yeah. I mean, I'm not playing fighting games on a Vita D-pad. So
We'll see. We'll see what it is.
they just lost a true fan. I'm saying that one. I've been playing on PS controllers for fighting games since PlayStation 1. So
Yeah, I was surprised they went like this far with their changing up of the controller because they've been really conservative their past 4 editions.
yeah, I'd say
Any
PS4
changes?
PS4 was the most quote unquote innovative design they had, and I feel like this one's getting even more like, okay, we're gonna basically try to have the same controller as Xbox, like visually, except the biggest difference is the analog stick placement, but visually it looks really fucking similar. Yeah, I hate it. George thinks it's all right, and Dame hates it. So 2 against 1. Get fucked, George.
And it's got a microphone. It's got the microphone in the controller. So on Street Fighter 6, you can just yell Hadouken, and then he'll fire the Hadouken.
Easy inputs with your voice.
Wait, is that real? It has a
Like you can
microphone?
pronounce
It has
Tatsumaki.
a mic in the controller.
Huh.
So
So
I want to see
na-
what fighting game adds that as a gimmick first.
I wonder about the battery life if they're gonna add all these fucking neat little extraneous things that nobody needs to it.
well,
I
It's
still don't
extra
understand
heartbeat and all
what
that
the
shit.
LEDs is for, what the touchpad's for. I don't understand.
RGB,
oh
all
god.
that gaming shit.
Well, first of all, my wishes for it are when I plug the controller into the console, I want it to act as a wired device. So fucking tired of that on PS4. And I really hope that in the menu system they give us a delete all Bluetooth button. That's all I'm asking for, Sony. Please. I'll take your shitty start and select button placement if you do those two things. I don't ask for much. God, so pissed off about it. But yeah. Any other comments on it?
Waiting to see what colors they come out with.
Well, the white one looks atrocious. I'll probably be okay with a black one.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that black and white aesthetic.
Yeah, just...
Maybe even if they reversed it, it might look better, but right now, ugh.
Nah, I'm not into it for sure.
I'm optimistic.
Damn. All right, I'll give it to you. It's too early to tell. I remember when there was that boomerang PS3 design going around, so... You never know. They could fix these things. I really want to send... I'm going to send an email. I'm going to be one of those Karens who fucking tries to get a hold. And I'm going to let them know about that start and select button. Get fucking wrecked. But yeah, we could move on to, I guess, Resident Evil 3. I don't think any of us has played it, right?
Nope.
I watched Genie play it for a while in his aircraft carrier, and... the game looks a little suspect to me. I was surprised that a survival horror game had a checkpoint system. Like, that seems to defeat the purpose. Like, Nemesis shows up, whoops your ass. Oh, that's okay. I'm just gonna start 5 seconds before that happened.
That sounds like trash.
Yeah,
honestly.
Like what is the point of that? Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot. Like, Genie in the chat says the game's essentially a DLC add-on, but priced at $60. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to get it, so I don't know. Either of you going to get it?
Yeah. I heard that they cut out a lot of stuff from like the original even to, to call it a complete remake is kind of, or a remaster or whatever they're calling it, is kind of a misnomer even.
Yeah, it seems quite rushed. And I mean, Resident Evil 2 is not even that old, the remake. Like, isn't it like a year and a half or something?
Yeah, it's like they're trying to churn one out every year like Star Wars, and the quality is quickly degrading with each iteration.
Well, that's the funny thing is, like, the big news of like the past year has been the quote-unquote revival of Capcom. Like, a lot of the average gaming public have kind of noticed with the remake of Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry 5, Monster Hunter. A lot of these games are like hitting the notes that old, like, vintage Capcom did. And now Resident Evil 3 comes out and we're like, oh yeah, you're still Capcom. So I don't know. Maybe they can learn from it, but I don't know. Oh, rumor is...
I never played any of the Resident Evil, so it doesn't really interest me.
Oh, do you like any survival horror?
Not really. I don't usually play don't really play that many like shooters or horror games.
I don't want to hear it, dude. I saw you playing some dumbass Mario Battle Network shooting game.
That's not a shooter. It's like a shoot 'em up.
You're using a gun, dude.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, Genie says that the RE3 remake was made by a different team, so...
That might explain it. Huh.
So maybe Capcom's B team got stuck with this and kind of just shit it out. Well, that sucks. I know that a lot of people, like, who have played the original games, like the first 3, it's pretty popular to say that 3 is your favorite, so my sympathies go out to those fans today. And speaking of some disappointed fans, currently I've been reading some pretty tepid press reviews about Final Fantasy VII Remake, so...
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it got an 8 flat from IGN, who usually, anything that comes out with a budget, they're just like 10 out of 10. Fucking the best game ever made. But an 8? an 8 from IGN worries me. Like, I also, there was another one I read that was, they're all like very, it reminds me of Death Stranding a little bit, where they're kind of coy about saying the game's shitty. Are you worried, Dame? I know you're the only other one that's going to play this.
Well, my expectations are tempered, and if it's shit, then I won't be too let down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to buy it. They got my money, so there's nothing I can do about that.
Man, that 8's pretty decent.
Yeah, but it's from IGN. That's what I gotta stress. They'll give a fucking box with 2 holes cut in the middle a 10 out of 10 if it is released by a big company and has a budget.
Slide some money under the table. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, give us a 10.
Yeah.
Maybe Square Enix didn't do it this time, and that's why they got an 8 instead of a 10.
That could be. Maybe they were like, we'll try to let the game talk for us, but then they ran into modern game journalism.
Couldn't get past the first tutorial boss.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of it for the gaming news. Anything else wanted to cover before we moved on to the coronavirus roundup?
Well, gaming-wise, Hearthstone just came out with a new expansion, added a new class to the game, and apparently, so it came out yesterday, and apparently they are nerfing it today. It's so powerful.
That's so funny. I mean, I'm from the Magic the Gathering side, where you can't just nerf a fucking card like Hearthstone, so they kind of have it easy, where they can just Leroy it up, release a broken piece of shit, and then fix it when they realize it's broken. They got it down.
I don't know how they even released this class as it is, because even before it was released, the cards was just ridiculous, and everybody knew it was gonna be broken. So, and then it came out and it was broken. I guess on like the first day, the best meta deck had like a 70% win rate, and the second best deck had like a 58% win rate or something like that. It's crazy.
Doing pretty solid, I would say, and I bet it was just all mirrors.
That class had the highest win rate in the legacy format, when all the other classes have like 200 more available cards than that class has, and it was the highest win rate in the legacy format.
Well,
crazy.
I think they should definitely. I don't know. It seems like Hearthstone has problems every time they release an expansion, so it seems like they should be a little.
They just blatantly release OP cards. I don't even understand. Like, they have to know that some of these cards they're releasing are just ridiculous, and they just do it. And then sometimes they wait 3 months to nerf it. Sometimes they wait 1 day.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like one of those things where like bad press turns into good press a little bit. I know with Magic, they went like 10 years without a banning, and then within the last 1 to 2 years, they've banned about, I don't know, 15 cards. And I think in their case, they think that the bad news is still like getting them press. Or I think, Blizzard's the king of that. So I think they're following their Overwatch and Diablo changes, where they're like, people are talking about it, we'll be all right. Which is so 2020.
Yeah, I mean, that just seems to be the case on every single expansion. There's always 1 or 2 cards that's just way over-tuned, and then everybody complains, and then it gets nerfed.
Ugh. Well, I'm glad I'm not a Hearthstone player. But you talking about Hearthstone all the time, and I see you in your little Discord thing. It says Hearthstone on it. It's making me...
I just got on today just to check it out. See what my class. I only play 1 class in that game, so I was just seeing if the deck was any fun, but it doesn't really look like my type of thing. So I'll wait till the next expansion, see what's coming up, and then maybe I'll jump back on.
Wow. Oh, yeah, another thing in the game sphere, as they put it, Riot just came out with a shooter that's super popular now, apparently. But I haven't heard very much of it. But it has like 1.5 million viewers on Twitch, and I just see it like randomly pop up in my recommended games to watch feed. So
Yeah, that's a
kind of
good
gets me
one.
thinking to the future. Is like, is their fighter gonna be this popular just because of their like reputation as like the company that makes super fucking popular games?
It probably won't be as popular as this one, since you know the difference between an FPS and a fighting game is substantial. But it will be far and away the most popular fighting game ever made. Like it'll make Street Fighter 4 look like Melty Blood. Because that shit,
Everything else is now a poverty fighter.
yeah, that shit launched what? Yes, no, maybe a few days ago. But I get on Twitch and I'll see every like Leffen was streaming it today. Fucking just name
the shooter.
yeah, just name the streamer,
yeah.
and they're gonna be streaming it right now. Like even like shmup guys, fighting game guys, any genre you think of. So it's amazing how much clout they have from League of Legends.
I think it's gonna be interesting when if they do the fighting game and it's like super esports with it. I think it'll be just interesting because like the League of Legends players and all them, they have to like sign all these things. They can, if you're like on a team, you have to stream for this amount of hours, and you can't stream this game or that game. So I wonder what the FGC's reaction will be when it's like actual esports. And it's like you guys can't do whatever the fuck you want, and you have to stream these hours, and you have to do X, Y, Z, and
no more thuggery.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Because yeah, like overnight, it won't be the FGC that is esports. It will be that game.
Right. It'll be that game. And if you want to get into that game, you're going to have to be esports.
Yeah.
And plus, I can't wait until the FGC has to clash. Because, like some of these shooter guys are going to try to transfer over. Some of these guys from other communities are going to try to transfer over. So to see that, like, the in crowd and the out crowd try to fight each other would be pretty funny.
I'd love it. Anything that makes a good storyline, I'm into. So if it's like some fucking like big legendary league player coming out to try to fuck with, Sonic Fox, put it on the card, boys. I'm there every time. But yeah, I mean, just in the last like 5 years, I've heard a lot of the OGs kind of complain about how esports it's gotten. You don't know esports, dude. You just fucking wait till that League fighter comes out. You just wait. It's gonna flip everything.
Like, I think it would be good just because then, the FGC will kind of have something to look at and be like, okay, I can be a little bit more professional here. FGC doesn't have to go full esports, but there's a lot of stuff they could do that's just like take it more seriously. Like all these FGC streamers just they kind of do it, but they don't really do it like serious. Like how many FGC streamers have like a set schedule? How many of them stream, 40 hours a week, or whatever it might be? Like how many are out there really building their brand?
There's not too many, but there's way more than there was 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, yeah, you got just.
The main thing is like people just gotta take it serious.
Yeah, there would be good points and there'd be bad points. I think it would really, I don't know. A lot of the things I love about the scene would change if we were to become a fucking like right overnight. Like the minute that I have to play someone in a fucking sound deadened glass paneled room, like those motherfuckers, is the day I quit. Like nah, like oh man. So yeah,
I just wonder like if coaches are gonna become like commonplace. I'm wondering like.
To me,
if team tournaments are going to become commonplace, because I feel like there's a push towards team tournaments.
I personally love team tournaments, and I do wish there was more of an emphasis on a dedicated coach in the FGC. But I mean, there's not a lot of money to be made in the FGC in general, so it's it's kind of weird. But I mean, at a certain point, you're put out to pasture. You go play Animal Crossing. You go play Final Fantasy 14, whatever the fuck it is. Why not, instead of doing those things, you become a fighting game coach with those talents you've accrued your whole life?
True, yeah.
So I'm a fan of both. And if I wish...
But teaching and doing is two different things, though.
Yeah. Very true. Not every player can become a good teacher. Absolutely true. And not every good teacher will be a good player. But I think a lot of good players can they can make a good curriculum, I would say.
Right, right.
They have
I do think there should be more like coaching for sale, like 1 hour session with insert top player, and I'll try to tighten your game up.
yeah.
I remember Gutex used to give like lessons for like $100 or some shit.
Yeah.
He was gonna take
I was gonna say, I remember when Gutex did it, and I think Justin and Valle did it for a while too.
I feel like that's probably ahead of his time with the paid coaching.
Dude, the whole SoCal scene is so ahead of their time. Like, everything that they're doing, they do like 3 years too soon, and everything gets fucked up. And then 3 years later, it's the cool thing and normal thing to do. I always feel so sad. Like, poor Valle. Like, now that we're in a global pandemic, his online tournaments don't seem too bad of an idea. The ones he was running 3 years ago. Or like
kind of like Valle. I mean, Valle had the Level Up. I don't even know, like Level Up LCC or whatever, which was like this professional event streaming team. And I think even for FGC, that was early when he started doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Team Spooky too, obviously.
Yeah, Spooky's always on like the cutting room floor for these type of things too. It's pretty interesting though, because it doesn't. We're a scene of boomers, so it's kind of hard to get us to adopt to anything. And I think that's why a lot of times we do miss out on the grander sponsorships out there, and it's kind of a nebulous topic because even like a slight change, like if we were to just magically all start playing on PC, that would open us up to so many more sponsorships, and it would flood the market or flood the scene with like this money that wasn't there before. But we're too stubborn. Like, it's kind of sad. That's actually a pretty good topic to go into. Sometime we're gonna have to I'm gonna have to write something down about that because I don't have anything like concrete. But yeah, there's hell angles to it. Anything else you want to say? Oh, Dame, you were kind of silent through that. I want to hear your your take on it, actually.
No, I was just listening and just agreeing, nodding along with everything you said. So
Yeah.
not much else to add there.
Just a pretty interesting thing. I think when and if the League Fighter ever comes out, and that's a big if at this point, because I kind of am feeling like they just bought something with their trillions of dollars and just did nothing with it. But if it does come out, I am all for it. Like, I'm the biggest boomer, I know, but I still want to see where we could take the FGC. Like, because we can still have locals in our back fucking yard running extension cables and you have the old school vibe and shit, But, like, maybe there is something to paying the players who've devoted their whole fucking life to it. And, yeah, maybe there is something to it. I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
And one thing to consider is that each game will kind of have its own community too. So not every scene will have to be esports heavy like the upcoming Riot Fighter is likely to be.
Yeah.
Right, true.
I can just not play the Riot Fighter and continue to play, I mean, literally any game I play that's not the Riot Fighter at that point is Melty Blood. So I might as well play Melty Blood at that point. Yeah, but that's kind of...
I think it'll definitely have good netcode, and I think you'll probably see like more. I think the more like open entry tournaments will be all online, and then the in-person tournaments will be like invitationals and team tournaments and that type of thing.
Oh yeah, like the guy that did GGPO, Tony Cannon, is like heading the Riot Fighter, so it'll hella have good netcode.
True, that's really true. I mean, that's the amazing thing is that we've been having to drink from the cup of poverty, whether we realize it or not, because our genre is not very popular. It's just popular enough to get a lot of new installments, but it's not popular enough to get a budget. So we constantly have to deal with the Street Fighter Fives and I hate to say it, Grand Blue Fantasies and all these games that like kind of have to partition their content out. Not saying that Riot wouldn't do that, but you know, I mean, they have an immense budget that they could just throw at this fucking game. And imagine like at least I don't think, George, you weren't there for like Street Fighter 4's launch, right?
No.
Yeah. So like before Street Fighter 4 launched, like you think that, I mean, the FGC was basically Corona. Like nobody played. The only like scenes there were on the coasts. Like it was ridiculous. And then overnight Street Fighter 4 comes out and boom, like suddenly everybody on your block plays Street Fighter. Like it was big. That would be awesome to see again and see on an even grander scale. Like suddenly boom, Street Fighter 4 2.0 is out. Like that fucking weirdo you know from work wants to learn how to play fighting games. That would be sick. So you know, even within this conversation, I'm being swayed. I can be swayed to this Riot Fighter for sure.
I do wonder how the design of the game will be like. I wonder if it'll be. I have a feeling it'll be more like in terms of like mix-ups and Oki and all that. I feel like it'll be more towards casual rather than like a high skill type of game. Legacy or not like legacy, but like an old school. I think it'll be more towards kind of what GG, the new one, is kind of going towards.
Well, the game
you played or know of Rising Thunder. That's
yeah,
what it's probably going to be based off of. Just like a simple, like skeletal fighting game.
Yeah, that's the one. They bought Rising Thunder to take over the development, and that's the Riot Fighter. So, I mean, that game had no inputs. That was a cooldown-based fighter, like Grand Blue, but you didn't even have access to the real input.
I mean, Grand Blue's kind of a cooldown fighter, because if you do the input, it's like instant cooldown regardless, outside of the EX.
Well, it's pretty considerable cooldown versus the actual input. Like you'll get like
if you do the easy input, you get cooldown for sure. But if you do the actual input, then it's just like no cooldown.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That we mean the same thing then. Where Grand Blue can be played like a normal fighter, whereas Rising Thunder didn't.
Right. So
your DP had to be on cooldown. So I think, you know, even that I've been swayed to a slight bit. I think you could do some interesting balancing with that.
That's what I think.
Whereas like an 8-second cooldown flash kick or something. The only problem I have with that is that it completely changes like the fundamental like way you think about Okazeme. Like if I can get up on a Guile who has his flash kick on cooldown, like that's so weird. Like just knowing that as a player. So they're going to have to do some creative balancing with it, I think. And they're probably going to have to take some cues from Grand Blue, honestly.
I do think a game like that would have a benefit of, like, it would be kind of in one way, it would be easier to teach people how to play. Kind of. It would be easier to teach how to approach matchups. Because you could say something like, don't jump at, Billy if he has his anti-air special move. But then when he doesn't, then you can kind of go in a little bit.
It's totally
kind of creates
true.
like an easy, like, yes, no, do this or don't do this in this scenario. Like if they have the projectile, then think about jumping. If they don't, then think about dashing in.
That's very
I'm willing
true.
to bet it'll have a pretty robust tutorial as well, just to get a lot of people who have never touched a fighting game in their lives to be able to start out with, because they're trying to appeal to a whole different audience.
Yeah, dude, imagine a fighting game with a budget. That is just incredible. I can't even imagine. The last time fighting games were popular was the 90s. So, yeah. I mean, as much as we think that fighting games are popular right now, they're really not at all.
Right.
Like,
I think like the way that they make this, like the way they monetize it, because I'm guessing it's probably gonna be free to play, and it's gonna be monetized in some way. And I think like their model is gonna be like the skeleton for a lot of fighting games coming up after it.
I think so as well, and that'll be really fucking weird. It's gonna be like the pre and post. It's gonna be the ultimate 09er experience. Like, holy shit, 2021er or whatever the fuck it's gonna be. I hope it comes sooner than I think it does. So, yeah, that was weird. I kind of before that conversation was pretty much dreading the Riot Fighter, but I'm interested now, especially since I'm so fucking stir crazy. I think I'm just going insane. So I think I'm at that spot now. Any final thoughts on the Riot Fighter, or do you want to move on?
But I'll definitely check it out. So I'm just waiting for any sort of information on it.
I'm with you. I'm with you for sure. After that, I kind of wanted to touch on any Corona updates, but I don't have any personally. I didn't hear anything. I know that America's hella in the lead. Everybody's taking it about as seriously as not a very serious thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we just had our first death in Lincoln from coronavirus.
Oh, I didn't hear that actually. We're pretty low. We're lower than Grand Island on the infection scale.
I think right now we're at like 37, 31 or 37.
Yeah. It goes Omaha at like 100 and something, Grand Island at 70, and then us at 34. But now we have a death. That's crazy.
Right. Well, we're the safest place to be in America.
Apparently. 13 deaths in the state, and I think
I heard,
like 500 plus cases.
I heard Kansas is like lifting its large group ban or whatever, and I don't think that's a good call because we've yet to hit the worst of this. I feel.
Yeah, that's a bad call. Well, you know, the Spanish flu, it's one of those things where it did technically quote unquote pass, and then everyone thought it was over. They went to a big parade, and then hella people died. Like, oh man. So yeah, we got to take it a little seriously. So, but it's good to know that us Lincoln boys are nice, clean, calm, correct. Fourth lowest total in the nation. You can't really count Alaska. Fuck those dudes.
We'll see. I mean, I've been keeping up, just been reading about the funny. It's interesting to me to read the Lincoln, Nebraska subreddit, because you get like it kind of leans, I would say, more like progressive, I guess. But then you also get like the people who are like, this shit's no big deal, blah blah blah. Why can't I go outside? It's pretty interesting, you know. Like they always post about like what the governor says, and like half the comments are like he's full of shit, and the other is like he's trying his best and all this type of stuff. So,
well, again, I don't remember who said it to me recently, but it actually I think was Dame. No, maybe, but somebody was like, there must be some middle ground between these two extremes, in like a sarcastic way, and that's true. You know, it's not doom and gloom, and it's not completely solved. So do your precautionary things. Fucking sing some shitty song in the bathroom. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. But, you know, don't think that it's Armageddon. You know, it's pretty simple. Again, not a virologist though. I wanna take time to say that. Well, I think with that we can get to George's soapbox, which open it up, George. I want to hear what you have to say.
what do I have to say? You know, I'm glad to see, one way or the other, I'm just glad to see more of the top heads of Tekken talking about what they think about the state of the game. You know, Kakoma, he made that tweet about how he's thinking about quitting Tekken, or how he's really hating to play the game. And I think it's good that the people who are on the top are saying what they feel.
That is very true. That it's very strange in Tekken. It's like the most quiet, content top player scene I've ever seen in my life. Like nobody complains about anything ever. And then suddenly people start being a little bit butthurt with balancing, and now you start hearing some ruffled feathers from the Koreans, and I haven't heard any Japanese beef yet, but Koreans are certainly not happy right now, which is super interesting that it took this long.
I wonder,
some
like,
beef. He
I just
commented
wonder,
on Kokoma's tweet.
like, that's the thing. Like, the Tekken scene at the top is pretty quiet. Like, there's obviously a language barrier as part of it, like, because a lot of the top players speak either not so great English or, you know, it's not their first language. But like, even about the American players, like, they're just like super quiet about, outside of like speed kicks, they're like just super quiet about like what they think, or like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like that's like, you know, usually in like a scene, the top players say things and then it like tempers the opinions of everybody else one way or the other. But if the Tekken top players aren't saying a lot, then it kind of leaves the community just to talk amongst themselves and kind of create their own opinions, which is like fine.
I prefer it that way.
I feel like if the top players had more of a voice, I feel like this whole controversy or whatever would go it would be moved by the top players one way or the other.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, from what I see from hopping from scene to scene, is that Tekken's top players not saying anything and not really dictating anything has generally been good for the scene developing their own opinions a lot of times. I mean, you can't completely avoid people being sheep and following some shitty tier list maker, but Tekken's fan base usually is pretty mature for the FGC. But lately, since season 2, I think they've been going the route of a normal fighting game fan and just complaining about every single thing that's going on. And that has started from the top down.
Yeah. It's funny because Tekken 7 blows up and suddenly you have a lot more noise around how things are balanced in the game.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that. I think it's so weird that there's so many new and young players since specifically season 2. And I can't figure it out. Like, what happened in season 2 that pulled in all of the new players? Did Eris?
Maybe it's just the good TWT season that brought in viewers.
That could be.
I don't think it was Eris, because Eris hasn't been commentating 2 events, and he hasn't been playing on his stream very often.
No, he doesn't.
I know when Tekken 7 first started.
Tekken, yeah, when he first started out, Eris was a big part of it, but I think
he's making a bunch of
stopped.
videos and whatnot.
Started streaming more, started commentating less, and it's like,
well,
I don't know, hard to say.
I really think he must have something to do with it, but I don't know because I don't think some fucking world tour has anything to do with it. I mean, Tekken's like actually like a pretty recognizable IP on PC of all things right now. It's very strange. I never thought I would see it listed alongside Fortnite on anything. So I mean, I have no idea. To me, Eris is like, he's not just a fighting game guy anymore. He literally gets like, he just had some random porn star chatting him up about how much she liked his Animal Crossing play. Like, yeah,
that was funny.
So he's like, he's hella mainstream now. So I think, like, you know, no matter what, if you watch Eris, you can tell, like, eventually that he plays fighting games. Like, he'll let it, I mean, even in his chat, he doesn't have to say it. His little microcosm and everything he's created is very old school FGC, and people accidentally, you know, go, what the fuck is Tekken? Maybe I'll go check that out. Oh, it's on PC. That's the only platform I have. You know, it snowballs from there. That's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, I just wanted to think about that for a second out loud, because I mean, we have a few in our scene, like Bishop and Eric and your boys. I think they all are post season 2.
I was part of the first wave
probably.
of Tekken 7 players, and Eris attributed a lot to like me caring and looking more into the game, and because I didn't know a lot of the stuff. Like I tried Tag 2, I played like Anime Fighters and a little bit of Street Fighter back then, but Tag 2 was really hard to get into if
Yeah.
you wanted to start into Tekken. So
Yep,
I didn't really touch it very much after I got it.
That was a brutal game to try to get into for sure. Well, actually, you're kind of a window. You're like, the guest I was supposed to have on today was Bishop, and he was supposed to kind of bridge the gap between my incredibly backwards boomerisms and, you know, the new school and how they got into it and shit. But you're kind of like a nice little in-between where you're like a 016er, 017er that kind of played fighting games beforehand. So, did Eris really like contribute to you getting into Tekken competitively?
I wouldn't say, well, Tekken in particular, probably, yeah. But I was interested in going to locals and whatnot even beforehand. It just took me a few years to get there.
Yeah.
All I had were anime conventions and occasionally running into Endgamer here and there.
And it's not exactly easy to find our little pocket. So, I mean, I feel like I was in the first wave of Lincoln's, like, birth. Where, like, suddenly everyone realized that people played fighting games at a card shop. Like, it was very strange. Omaha has always had a good scene, but Lincoln never did until Soul Calibur 5, which is very strange. And Street Fighter 4. Like, the Soul 5 and Street Fighter 4 scenes kind of combined to be like, yay, we're not as lonely now. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But that's interesting to hear, because watching Eris go from, like, this random homeless-looking guy who, like, said some kind of sus stuff, but he's always funny and you always give him the benefit of the doubt, to, like, the most recognizable member of our community. Like, I would say he's probably has more clout than Max now, which is fucking crazy.
I wouldn't say
I don't know about
not
that.
quite that far, but
Max has a lot
I think
of
he's
clout.
second to Max. Yeah, Max is kind of
Personally,
like 10K plus viewers
Yeah.
lately. I think his upcoming Final Fantasy VII stream might like blow the fucking roof off of Twitch.
yeah, maybe Max is, but I never hear about Max from my groups, like all the people I talk to. But I hear about Eris from like really random people who don't know fighting games.
Huh.
Like Max
See, I have it
fans,
the other way around.
you know,
I think Max fans tend to be a bit younger
that could
as well.
be. Yeah, I think I missed the boat on
I have a buddy
Max.
who knows Max more than Eris. He only knows Eris through me, but knows Max. Like, I didn't even tell him about Max, but he knows about Max.
Well, the interesting thing about Max is I think everyone who watches him likes fighting games already a little bit, whereas Eris people don't even know fighting games sometimes. Like, they're just brought in from...
I think Max plays way more like generally popular games. Like, his variety streams is way more. You know, he plays like Smash. He has like 8 of his friends over, and they all play Smash and pick goofy characters and do goofy shit.
Eris plays Stilt Fella. He makes the whole community play Stilt Fella.
But
We
Hey.
follow in his footsteps.
I'm not gonna beef over this. I'm Team Eris because, you know, it's the
I'm
correct.
not saying I'm
King is
Max.
Team Maximilian, dude.
Yeah, it's the correct
But I
decision.
just think that Max has more reach.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'll give it up to you. Anyways, back to the soapbox, which is, I mean, actually, we might have finished on that. I think so. Anything
Just
you
talking
wanted to
about
add?
the vocalness of Tekken players,
Yeah,
or the lack of voice.
yeah. I think it's pretty interesting how it's all. Tekken's like its own little thing. Its community is very much rooted in like kind of old school principles, and I think the top players could probably flex their clout a little more, but I wouldn't like that. Like, Kokoma deleted his tweet, so I think he came to his senses, unlike a lot of fucking Street Fighter players or Dragon Ball players or Mortal Kombat players. So I'm happy about that personally.
Honestly, I wish they would also like speak more to their ability, to their talent. Like I feel like these top players are like their decision making and they're like, you know, when they're sidestepping, when they're not sidestepping. I feel like it's way more involved than like a lot of people give it credit for. Or they're like way more like compared to the average Joe, they're like playing on a whole nother level. And I feel like it's kind of gone. It's not understood well enough, and so it's underappreciated.
Yeah, we need more of the
Like,
top
people
guys.
People always say, oh, you know, JDCR sidesteps are really good, but it's like, who, you know, are we breaking it down? Like, you know,
Yeah, we need a Sajam for Tekken, basically.
Yeah.
there
Well,
should be, you know, I think we need some good Tekken analysts that know a lot about the game and like can kind of break it down and think about decision making or why they did or didn't do a thing.
that would be nice because Tekken commentators are probably the best in the FGC, but they are not good in the technical Sajam sense. They're more good in the Yipes sense, which is just blow the fucking roof off the place. Yeah,
It's like I can watch Anakin play and he'll hit, you know, tons of full crouch down or full crouch down back ones. But if I go and try to do that, I'll just get low parried or I'll get, you know, low crushed or whatever. And then it's like, okay, how do you hit all of these? How do you make your opponent so scared of this, of everything else that you can just do whatever you want? And it's like, well, maybe Anakin could explain it. Or maybe, you know, some other Jack player could explain the type of like pressure that they put on their opponent either through movement or, you know, feigning a mid or whatever it might be. Like,
well, it actually kind of goes back to that coaching point where it's not every good player is a good teacher, and not every good teacher will be a good player, vice versa, whatever you want to say. So I think, like, you know, you have that blasted salami and what's that fucking one guy? Who's the Japanese player who's tweeting like a tip a day?
I don't know. Kuro?
I don't remember who it is, but it's super good. He's like an actual good player who like teaches you some random little like cool thing, like an interaction in the game. Anyways, but yeah, they could do a lot more, and I would love to see an actual good player be a good teacher, but it seems like we're lacking those severely. I mean, Eris was serious. He used to be that, and then, you know, he stopped playing because not many people know, but Eris used to be maybe top 10 Tekken player in the United States. So he kind of bridged the gap between a vocal personality who could convey his thoughts well and actually know what he's talking about.
When he used to do he would do a commentary on a tournament that he didn't go to. I mean, he would definitely have super insightful times. And
Yeah.
he would break down and he would tell you why what they did was impressive rather than just saying it was impressive.
Yeah. So, I mean, now that he's gone, he's left like a vacuum, kind of, where there's not a lot of... I mean, nobody stepped up to take that spot, which I think is interesting. Because he's kind of willingly stepped away from fighting games, and, I mean, it's pretty easy to take Tekken's analyst spot. I'm surprised no one has. I mean, that blasted salami is cool and all, but I don't think he's, you know...
The one.
Yeah, he's not the one just because he doesn't have the results, kind of. I think a lot of people... Not that you necessarily need them always, but we need somebody who kind of has results to teach some players, because that's... I mean, people are more willing to listen to someone who has results, usually.
Right. I mean, from my perspective, I like that the former player as an analyst, because then they can say firsthand, like, you know, I played against, you know, when I played against him in Evo 2019, he was doing a lot of this, and now he's kind of changed it up and doing this or whatever it might be, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's an important, that kind of like, I was there, you know? I can speak from experience.
Totally. It's just like sports commentators. You'll always see the guys who transition, you know, Shaq and Charles Barkley and fucking John Madden. We need a lot more of that, I would say, and we need more coaches. Yeah. Do you have anything you want to soapbox, Dame?
Um, let me try to. Oh yeah, there's one thing. If you've been perusing the Poverty Anime Games channel, I posted a screenshot of the new Kohime character
Oh
that
no.
came out. That's gonna come out. It's a Dusa character.
There's a new character? This game is still being developed?
This game, they're still coming out with shit for this game.
What
This
the-
is just a sneak preview. I think they're gonna come out with another version. The version we're currently on is like the second version or whatever. So, yep, more shit is in the works, guys. Stay tuned. They're like reworking the sprites for some characters. It's gonna be like a
Wow.
completely new game, but not really. But still, check it out.
I thought that game was like 100 years old, so I'm impressed. Good shit to those guys for keeping at it. At this point, they almost have released the same amount of characters as Soul Calibur 6 has in the past year. Well, that's a good one. We always got to tie Koihime into, or fucking, how do you say it again?
It's Koihime.
Koihime. I'll never remember. It'll always be Koihime to me. Get fucked.
Koi.
That's how Genie pronounces it. It's also an acceptable way to say it.
Well, all right. My soapbox is, if you haven't played one of those old shmups, man, I think you gotta. They're so similar to fighting games. They're very masher friendly on the surface. You can dump hella continues into them and learn nothing and not realize anything that's going on. But each one has their own like deep mechanics that separate them from each other. You know, as much as 2D or 3D fighters even. So, you know, if you ain't doing anything this quarantine, you should probably go out and, you know, try one. Try to get good. It's just a slight tragedy that the genre is more or less dead, but I would like to see a Riot Games version of a shmup. I doubt the Zoomer generation would ever take a passing glance at that, though. Probably. Yeah, we can move on to actually plug our stuff, and we all can plug our stuff now because George has joined the streaming universe. George, tell them where they can find you, man.
You can find me at twitch.tv/yo1george.
And
I mostly stream indie games right now.
I was gonna say, this man is on some wild shit. Some wild shit. He was like surfing web pages in Windows 3.1 for half an hour at least.
Yeah,
Play all the
saw that
weird
shit.
games
I
you
did
guys
not
never heard of.
understand what I was looking at there.
Well,
Yeah.
I think I just picked up Metal Slug X. I might stream that pretty soon.
Damn, we should fucking. I have that. We can. There's a co-op play online.
Oh shit! I've only played the first one and the second one. I played a little bit, and then X.
Get fucking
And I
good.
played like the seventh one or some random shit like that. But I really like the first one, and X I really like too. So
X is absolutely godlike. Tell them where to find you, Dame.
You can find me at Twitch and Twitter at Dame_Yen.
And Twitter's the only thing. You ain't got no. Oh, that's
Twitch.
You said.
Twitch and Twitter.
Yeah, Twitch and
Twitcher.
Twitter. You said that. You said
Who
that.
Twitch this is.
Twitch.
Well, I guess you could find me at the Twitch you're currently on, or if you're watching at YouTube, that's Wes's YouTube, so you'd have to go to mine, which is MKL. I don't know. I don't remember what my YouTube is.
Work on your plugs.
Yeah, my plugs are average. I'm gonna work on it. Oh, my Twitter, I finally know now. It's what, MRKLOUX, I think. I'll figure it out next week. But I stream shmups. That's it. Get fucked. I'm never streaming anything else. I'm never gonna be on that Windows 3.1 game. So
Damn, it's like that, huh?
it's like that. Eternity. From now until I die. Nah. Once this quarantine ends, I can finally stream something else. But until then. Let's see here. Any shout outs or bitch callings you guys got ready?
Shout outs and bitch callings.
Bitch calling for Mr. Kokoma for that tweet. That sorry ass tweet.
That's a good one. That's a good one for sure.
I understand he has qualms with the game, but I feel like he could have worded that a lot more eloquently.
Definitely.
My props go to all of those essential workers out there still having to go to their jobs and not being able to stay at home and enjoy games. I'll be enjoying JRPGs on your behalf.
Oh, thank you, Dame. Hey, I heard that the Senate is thinking about passing something that gives me like $25,000 or something since I'm essential, you know? Come on,
Damn.
Boost my fucking pay.
Damn.
Yeah, I heard about
What's that
that.
money gonna go
Hopefully
to?
it extends
More
to all the
shooters?
rest.
I'll buy a fucking arcade cabinet from Japan of a cave shooter if I get that much money. All right, George, what you got? What you got?
I mean, I don't really have anything. I would say, shout outs to fuck, I don't know. Shout outs to Steam for having Metal Slug X on sale.
Hey, you pulled that one out so deep. That was deep within you. I respect
Like
it.
I caught a 3-pack with Metal Slug. I think it's Metal Slug 1, X, and then maybe 2 on there. And I think I got that for like $15. So, shout outs to Steam.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Steam. All right, well, what's the bitch calling then?
My bitch calling goes out to. I might steal this from you, but I'll just call Bishop a bitch for not showing up.
Hey, you know, it had to be done. It had to be done. Well, you heard it, Bishop. You ever want to fucking come on the podcast, we're here for you. But until then, bitch calling. Bitch calling. Let's see here. My shout outs is to the cats who randomly greet me when I go out on the porch and smoke. On just my second day of smoking outside, another one popped up and kicked it for like an hour. And this is like the 7th time it's happened in the past few years. Like, hell yeah. I'm into
Talking
it.
about actual cats?
Yeah, actual cats. I don't get it. Well, and actually, I should call the owners a bitch calling, but I won't. That's too easy. The bitch calling goes to anyone who tries to get me to watch Tiger King. Get fucked. Never watching that shit, and I never will.
Man, never watching Tiger King.
Nope, that ain't me, man.
I'm tempted, but I don't know.
That ain't me. That ain't me.
I think it's gonna I think the hype's gonna die down in like a week. So if people are still talking about it in a week, then maybe I'll watch it. But
I keep hearing about it, but I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, that's it for us. We're here every Wednesday-ish, and we'll figure out any way we can to push this past an hour, even if we have 1 or 2 things to talk about. So, all right, boys and girls,
get Eli on there.
Get Eli on here
Get him
next
off
week.
Animal Crossing. Get him on the podcast.
Get him off of Animal Crossing, you lie. If you're listening.
For real. All right, bitch calling to Eli. All right, deuces, y'all.
Alright, see ya.
Peace.